When it comes to time management, you can be thinking about it in big, long-term chunks, or you can be thinking about a very simple question. How am I going to plan my day? And planning your day well is essential to getting good at time management. So let's go through the who, what, why, when, where, how, all those good questions when it comes to planning your day. So when, let's ask that first. Well, for a lot of people, consolidation and being able to work with a lot of information happens while we sleep. So when to plan your day, it can be really valuable before you close your day to think about what's on tap for tomorrow. What do I need to be thinking about? What's the day going to look like? What's coming at me? First of all, that allows for you to feel a little calmer when you disengage from work, that you know what's coming at you. But also it helps you to do that consolidation. Your brain's working away while you're sleeping. May give you some kooky dreams, but then you can have another revisit of it in the morning. Things do change, priorities change. Some email comes inbound at 6 a.m. that throws everything up in the air. But to have that double bounce of a little bit of thinking about your day the day before, and then another pass in the morning is really going to help you be on top of it. Okay, then you got to answer what. What is the most important thing I need to accomplish today? Or what 3 things do I need to get done? Also, it's important to ask what can wait, because we have thought load. This is the term I use to describe all that stuff that weighs on us, that we're thinking about and worrying about and fretting about, even when we're trying to work on something else. So when we're thinking about a day and our plan for the day, it's important to not only think about what are the most important things I need to do, and that you probably only want 2 or 3 at max most important things. But it's just as important to say, what am I not going to get to today? It is okay that I am not going to get to this. All right, why? So when you get to answering the why questions, it's about what are these tasks about? What are they in service of? What is the outcome that I am trying to create that is the most important outcome? So this isn't just what activities am I going to do. It's not just what outputs am I trying to deliver. It's what change am I trying to create? And that reflecting on things that are beyond your control, but are the most important reasons why you're doing something, gives your whole day more meaning. So make sure that you ask the why questions, not just what. Now, of course, who plays a big role in planning your day? Who do I need to talk to? Who could be helpful here? Who is counting on what I'm delivering today? All of those sorts of who questions to know your most important stakeholders. And sometimes stakeholder management in a day is really important, because just like in the what, knowing who you do want to engage with, but just as importantly, who you don't want to engage with. Who am I going to keep at bay today? Who am I going to have to ask to wait? Who's going to be trying to interrupt me, bother me, and take me off track? And how am I going to manage that? And then finally, when you're clear on, what you're having to do today, why that matters, and who is going to be involved, then you can get to the how. How do you build out that day using time blocks? Because we know that set time blocks are much more efficient than if we try and do a bunch of things at once. So how do I get some 90-minute blocks of time? Where am I putting in rest? In between my blocks, what am I going to do? Am I going to walk over to another department and have a 10-minute coffee with a friend? Am I going to get outside and get some oxygen, do a quick lap around the block? What am I going to do? Where am I building in my buffers? Because if your day does not have a buffer, it's going to be stressful and probably not very productive. And last thing I would ask, how am I going to recharge my batteries during the day today? Where am I going to eat? What am I going to put in my mouth to fuel my day? Where am I going to move my body? If I'm somebody who gets energized by social things, where is that time for me to connect with my clients, my customers, my colleagues? So thinking about how you're going to put those things in your day. But I think most of the time we do our day planning just on what. We have a to-do list of 15 things and we just start working through that. And that's not an optimal way to plan your day. We do need to consider when is the right time to think about our time management. Yes, what are we doing? But more importantly, what are we not going to get done today? Why? What are we trying to accomplish? How are we trying to change the world, even a very small version of the world that these tasks will add up to? Who's involved and who needs to stay uninvolved? And how? How are we going to optimize that time with periods of focus, periods of rest, and periods of rejuvenation? That's a great way to plan your day. Now, days don't always go as planned, so take a look at this video about what to do when your plan goes